All right, let's just dive into it, shall we? So we've got what I'm going to call hipster JAC, Jeskai Ascendancy combo here. So this is the OG Jeskai Ascendancy combo before we had Urza and Emery type stuff. So this is a variation we've played on the stream a bunch in the past. The basic idea is you get Birds of Paradise or Sylvan Caryatid or Fatestitcher here. And then we liked it before it was cool, right, Hippity? And then you play a bunch of spells, untapping your creatures over and over and over again to make them exceptionally large with the Jeskai Ascendancy while chaining through your deck while playing cards that draw other cards. And then eventually you get a very swole Birds of Paradise or Fatestitcher and attack your opponent. Or you can use Flesh Blood out of the sideboard to use a Sylvan Caryatid to deal damage to your opponent. MTG Wiki, thanks for the 2 months. This spell's got a number of cheeky one-ofs in the main deck. We've got a Path to Exile, a Veil of Summer, an Engineered Explosives, a Magmatic Sinkhole, a Echo of the Eons, an Eladamri's Call, and then a couple of Regrowths and a couple of Ideas Unbound. Ideas Unbound is a card I tried in the past and I've been a little bit medium on, so I'm interested to see how that feels today. This card's pretty good when you're comboing, but when you're not comboing, it's pretty bad. Draw 3, discard 3 is technically card disadvantage, so let's see how the games go here. I would kind of be surprised if this deck is not supposed to be... I wonder if this deck is supposed to be playing some number of Oko in the 75. Just because, like, this deck has a pretty bad burn matchup, and Oko's pretty good against burn. So maybe there's a possibility that that's a thing. 40 degrees in Texas. Yikes. We're not that much lower. We're about that here. I think we were at like 45 this morning when I woke up. We're going up to 54 today. You think it might be correct to be Unpacked plus Eidolon again? Yeah, I'd believe that. Is this build more slanted towards when there were more interactive decks in the format? We have not played the Ogmoth Core deck. Yeah, I feel like a number of these choices here between Path and Magmatic Sinkhole and Regrowth are like, and Veil, like these are cards you play when there's more interactive decks in the format. Yeah, the build on my site is the Summoner's Pack build, which has Noble Hierarchs in it. It's a little bit more linear, so it's a little bit more consistent at racing. I mean, regrowths are pretty good against like discard heavy disruption decks, right? They just like give you more density on your action spells. I'm gonna make a note to put some Broco in JAC on the website. Wow, we've been in the queue for 2 minutes. What a dead game. Legends of Runeterra actually did it, chat. It's killed Magic. Took 120 seconds to find a match. This is the end. The end is nigh. Repent, repent. Easy mulligan here. Hey, Coma Cake, thanks for the 20 months of support. I appreciate it. Alright, yeah, I mean, this is a keep. I'm gonna bottom this island. So, this deck's basically an AB combo deck. You're looking to find a mana creature plus the Jeskai Ascendancy. In this case, we also have Glittering Wishes to fetch Jeskai Ascendancy from the sideboard, so we got 7 virtual copies of that. So, this hand has 2 lands, some cantrips, and a Jeskai Ascendancy, so we're going to be casting cantrips to try and find a Birds of Paradise or a Sylvan Caryatid here. Hey, Chobo Muffin, thank you for the 6 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Our opponent revealed Chancellor of the Tangle. They also mulliganed to 5 though, so we'll see. The last time I played Neoshoal, I killed on a mull to 5 on 1, so we might not get a second turn, chat. We might not get a second turn. Welcome to Modern. Enjoy your stay. Fingers crossed we get a second turn. I keep like building sweet Modern decks and looking at them and being like, man, this looks like a lot of fun to play. And then realizing that I'm gonna have to play against like Tron and Neoshoal Brand and dying on 2 to Urza PO, and I'm just like slowly delete them. Alright, well this Fatestitcher is like a turn 4 kill. That's like pretty slow. Our opponent didn't have it on 1 though with 2 mana, so there's a good chance that they're not killing till 3, so maybe they have a slow turn 4 hand. Well, that's pretty unfortunate. I guess I'll take the land. I definitely like the JAC builds that have specifically Noble Hierarch in them, just because they tend to combo quickly a little bit more consistently. Path lets us not die to Gristlebrand. I mean, is that true? Because like, I'm definitely tapping out here, right? Okay, I think my hope is that they're not killing me on 3, is the line. And that's why playing against Neoshoal Brand just like is kind of awful overall. Like, a lot of the time you're just like crossing your fingers and hoping they don't have it. We don't have any interaction. We have Silence in the sideboard, I guess, and Path, kind of. Hey, look, they didn't do the thing. Oh ho, we're halfway there. Living on a prayer. Make some blue mana with this. So, JAC lets us loot. We'll discard Fatestitcher. Now we'll make blue-green. Unearth this guy. Untap Hallowed Fountain. Time to draw 6 lands. Are you implying that's how this deck works? Because you might be right. One of the things that makes me like this deck more than Storm, generally speaking, is it's a little bit more of a puzzle deck. Just because you don't get to points where they're just like deterministically dead. Every game plays out a little bit differently. It's always trying to figure out exactly what you're doing and how you're getting there. Well, we might have bricked off. We have what? We have 2 redraws here. So I get to play this for 0. That being said, because we don't get to deterministic states, this deck has a failure rate that some of the other better combo decks in the format don't have. That's a good draw. So we need to have a constant flow of non-creature spells that allow us to untap our things and generate more cards through our deck here. And we do have Waterlogged Grove sitting in play here, so if we do fully brick on just our JAC and our cantrips, we do get 1 more redraw, which is nice. We've not played the Urza Emery deck yet. I think there's an Emery deck at the top of the queue, though. Yeah, Lumbering Falls. We are actually going to do Temur Oko with oh, those are 2 misses. At least we drew a good one here. Temur Oko with more Yangling is going to be the last standard deck today. In fact, something else we're going to try today, I plan to try copies of Spark Double in the build today. That's not something we've tried yet. Alright, okay, sweet. So I think we're like no longer in danger of bricking at this point. So we get to go Manamorphose. Man, clicking through this combo on like newer laggier moto is like peak Magic Online. This combo was never fast to click through, but like this is pretty exceptional. This deck it's super negative click EV. The clicks you do to combo kill people are incredibly high. I'm gonna get back Serum Visions here. Nice Lumbering Falls. Yeah, the deck's super strong. For sure. Yeah, listen, my Logitech has gone through like 4 digits worth of hours of many first-person shooters and MMORPGs. It's almost old enough to drive. It's ready for the challenge that's put in front of it today. The only way to get more clicks in this deck would be 4 Vidillion click, but that's a pretty good one. I can't say that I've heard that one before. Alright, so let's loot. There's the Glittering Wish, and then this untaps our creature here, so we're going to actually want to use it again in response. Hey, and Ideas Unbound. That's exciting. Ideas Unbound, I talked about it being a little bit middling when we're not comboing, but man, when we are comboing, this card is gasoline. 2 mana draw 3 is great. Alright, we're not quite at deterministic yet, but we are highly unlikely to break from here. So the goal for people not wondering what's happening, if you can't see the little tiny text on Magic Online, every time I cast one of these spells, my Fatestitcher gains 1 attack and 1 defense. So that is a good thing for us. Actually, we are deterministic at this point, right? I can technically Glittering Wish for lethal, but I'm just going to attack them. And now that I have 2 Fatestitchers in play, I get to go ahead and get 2 power per spell cast, so they're at 22 currently. And this is the part of the game where playing this deck in paper actually tends to be easier in a lot of ways. Because at this point, if this was a paper match, I would just flip my hand up and explain to my opponent that I'm going to like cast a bunch of spells here and I have plenty of mana because of how Fatestitchers work. And they would be like, alright, yeah, I'm dead. But on Magic Online, I have to sit here and click and show them. I can't just reveal my hand. Own is cool. Thanks for the half a year of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. So we are deterministic at this point. It's just a matter of casting our spells. With 2 dorks and JAC, you can go infinite with regrowths, right? Yes, that is correct, actually. Or two JACs, 1 dork and a regrowth is infinite. Clicking, do 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 do. Oh yeah, I suppose that's true. They could be planning to try and get me with a shoal. So I technically, and this is the awkward part, I like technically have to overkill here because of that. You know, I've actually never heard that one before. We could go get Teferi. Let's do that. Alright, Teferi, Hero of Hearthstone. I choose you. Opponent concedes the Teferi Time Raveler. Alright. So Path and Silence are both good here. Sinkhole, EE, Veil of Summer, don't do anything. I think I board in Failure to Comply. Just because it's interaction. And I don't have time. They have Blue Pact and Black Pact. Yeah, I guess. Do I want Veil of Summer, though? Is that the axis we're fighting on here? Like, drawing this while we cantrip is just a dead draw, right? While we're going off? Like, I'm gonna be lucky if I have mana. I'm gonna be lucky if I have mana to, like, cast these things most of the time, I think. Basically, I feel like to win this matchup, I just have to hope my opponent's deck doesn't work. And I feel like so many of the matches in Modern right now are just like that. And I'm just like, sitting there like, well, I hope their deck doesn't do anything and I just get to, like, do my thing and they die. Or I hope that their plan to do the thing is, like, slower than my plan to do the thing. So I kill them first and they die. Failure to Comply, is that another name for subpoenas at this point? Yep, in this administration it is. Something, something, Republicans are the party that's for rule of law, something, something. I think I keep this and just hope that they're like, if they keep a good 7, we're just dead. So my opponent began the game with 7 cards in their hand. That doesn't bode well for our hero, chat. Breeding pool. Gosh, my 4-year-old is loud. Children, chat, children. Once you have children, there is no more silence. There is only Paw Patrol. But they're playing Neo Shulbrandburgle. The Tron matchup's fine with this deck. Oh, so I'm going to put a second bird into play here. I'm going to Glittering Wish for JAC, and I'm going to hope to draw a spell next turn. Aaron, thanks for all you do. I've been playing Ranklecrats that makes Field of the Dead cry. Awesome. If you didn't see the Once Upon the Aristocrats that we played yesterday, would highly recommend. Build is super sweet. Okay, now, fair is fair. Magic Online actually has more text than Arena. On Arena, these cards literally don't have text boxes, they're just pictures. So I would like the record to reflect... that I think it is unfair to characterize Magic Online as having less text than Arena. Now, Arena does have the overlay, but that's also not really an Arena feature. The overlay only exists because third parties made it. It's not like Mythgard or the new Legends of Runeterra, where the extension is built in. So I don't think I tried a combo here. I think because if I drew any other spell like any other cantrip, I would try and combo here. But because Silence can stop my opponent from comboing for a turn, I think I go ahead and wait and give myself a chance to draw another card. Because if I draw another non-creature spell next turn, I'm incredibly likely to combo, I think. Especially if I draw a cantrip or like an Ideas Unbound. So I think I just put my third mana dork into play and like try to combo next turn if we draw anything that triggers JAC. And again, like, the only reason we get a chance in this game is because, like, my opponent's deck just, like, doesn't do anything. Or, like, isn't doing anything. Like, they kept a potentially speculative hand and now are breaking off. We had proper Power Rangers. Listen, there's a lot of power. As something of an expert on watching modern day Power Rangers, thanks to my 4-year-old, there are a lot of Power Rangers today, okay? Yeah, I agree, Rothskeller. The resource system in Mythgard might be my favorite resource system out of any game I've ever played. It's just so incredibly well done. We're gonna. I got approval from the boss to run long today, so I think we're gonna do some Mythgard at the end of today's stream. Wow, them Manamorphosing here is actually really good for us because it gives us a target to cast Failure on. When normally we wouldn't have had a target. We would have had to, like, failure our own spell at some point. PJ Masks. Yeah, we do. We do PJ. We're down with the PJ Masks. Have you looked at Argent Saga? Yeah, I don't have time for... I demoed Argent Saga at Gen Con, but I don't have time in my life for non-digital card games. I don't recall exactly what their resource system is offhand, but I remember it being reasonable. But don't ask me to describe it. Were they the one that had a separate land deck? I feel like they might have been the one that had a separate land deck. Okay. Yeah, that's a fine system too. I'm a big fan that Mythgard system leverages the digital design space nicely. All right, and they're super dead here, right? We just have like 16. I guess we technically need to overkill them, right? Which is the awkward part. Oh, I should have kept the silence and just silenced them is what I should have done. That was a mistake. I was thinking I didn't need it, but they have Nourishing Shoal. So, like, because I didn't wait and silence them, I have to overkill. Yeah, but what if they have 2 shoals? What if they have 2 shoals, chat? Oh, comply is name a spell, right? Silence for 1 spell. Yeah, okay, got it. Failure's the bounce part. Comply. Yeah, you're right, Hippity. Two Shoals is my favorite rapper. And hey, look, we won the match because my opponent's deck effectively did nothing. I think I'm gonna keep this. We're on the draw. And by we're on the draw, I'm gonna keep this. They're gonna play a turn 1 discard spell, take my Sleight of Hand, and I'm gonna curl up in a fetal position and cry. If we ban Gristlebrand for Modern, what's the second stupidest thing? I don't know, Burgle, but I think banning Gristlebrand is super wrong. The very clear issue with the Neoshoal brand deck is Simian Spirit Guide. Just for the love of God, take the fast man out of this format. Tilt. I'll say this too. Are there, and this is people who have played other games, correct me if I'm wrong, are there any other card games in existence that print targeted discard like this? Because I can't, I've played a lot of games, and I don't, Hex, because they were just like Magic Plus had targeted discard. But like, a lot of the other games shy away from this style of effect, right? Hey, Suzu, welcome to Hoaglandia. Hope you're having an excellent Thursday wherever you are. Hey, look, green source. They took our Sylvan Caryatid, though, and they're going to brutalize our Birds of Paradise, most likely. These Jund-style matchups tend to be very bad for this deck. Yu-Gi-Oh! Had them, but they immediately banned them. Yeah, they're a huge feel-bad experience, right? Just like the type of thing you just like that make your players upset. What would my ideal Magic type and be? Are there types of decks you would like to just not exist? There are types of decks I'd prefer not be tier 1. Like, for example, last season in Standard, I think Nexus of Fate is a fine archetype to, like, have be fringe playable. But I think anytime, we probably don't have time to play a full match anyways. I'm just not playing against the Ren and 6 Jund deck. Let's just move to the next one. Let's find us like a nice Tron deck or a Valakut Titan player and run them down. I think decks like Nexus should not be winning Mythic Championships or showing up in large numbers. Would be my rough takeaway. I mean, power level is relative, Burgle. I think part of what you mean, Burgle, is that at its core, the core gameplay mechanics of Magic tend to be so non-interactive that you have to have cards like that. Like, for example, games like Hearthstone and games like Mythgard, their games on average as a whole just tend to be incredibly more interactive than Magic, just because by virtue of how their combat system works. I think I keep this. I'm gonna bin the Sinkhole in the dark. Yeah, just bin the island. Yeah, I'll bin the Sinkhole in the dark. Yeah, the basic island breeding pool is we queued into Ren and 6 with our Birds of Paradise deck. So this Glittering Wish is what I like to refer to as a slow JAC. It spends 2 mana. Sylvan Caryatid is a perfect pickup here. Spends 5 mana to get a JAC eventually, so that's nice. You see Frank Lepore's Bioessence Hydra list. It looks pretty sweet. I think Bioessence Hydra is not a threat that's particularly playable in a world where it's not particularly playable in a world where Field of the Dead is a top tier deck. You need your expensive threats to just be more evasive than that. Yeah, I don't know that those decks are like a power level thing, Burgle, so much as a variance thing. And like Magic is an incredibly high variance game. So, like, if your argument Magic's high variance, so it needs cards to swing that variance a little bit more, maybe I would accept that. And in general, I don't think, like, Magic's a high variance game, so it needs these cards is, like, a very good argument to make. Alright, we made the mistake of giving my opponent a turn 3. We were going to try and combo kill them on 4. It looks like they're going to combo kill us on 3. So for those not familiar with Modern, my opponent's Devoted Druid plus Vizier of Remedies here allows them to generate infinite mana. And then the Stoneforge Mystic goes and fetches Viridian Longbow, which with the ability to untap their Druid over and over again deals an unlimited amount of damage to us, so we are dead. A lot of Modern for people who are not quite used to this format. Maybe you play, I need to update the Stream Decker. Maybe you play some Standard. Modern's a very fast and brutal format where people frequently combo kill you on the first, second, and third turns of the game. It's actually kind of funny in a way. Modern has turned into what people kind of always thought Legacy was. Like, people who didn't really know what Legacy was, used to, like, always joke that, like, oh, like, every match is Belcher and stuff like that, when really that was never the case in that format. But, like, this format is, like, at this point is very much most of your games are just that, people blasting off. Is there a good way to get into Modern? Your credit card's a great way to get into every format. Modern is super tough to get into to start, just because in order to get into it, you need to have you just have to jump into it, basically, because there's just so many different decks that people play. Just the range of cards that are Modern playable is really deep. Is it important enough for you to interact with your opponent to be playing Path and Silence over 4 Once Upon a Time? So Once only finds half of the combo in this deck, and 2 mana cantrips when you're comboing kinda suck. People recommend Modern to people who are brand new to Magic because a lot of people are very heavily invested in Modern and they need new players to keep the format growing. Modern is hands down the most popular competitive paper Magic format Magic has ever had. So the fact that it's recommended to new players doesn't surprise me. What are your thoughts on JAC decks with Emery, Mox, and Baubles? I mean, the Urza JAC decks are probably one of the best decks in this format right now. PO is one of the better things you can be doing. This hand's great. Hopefully we should get a turn 3. The opponent's deck can't kill on turn 2, I don't believe. So we go turn 1 Bird, turn 2 JAC, turn 3 hopefully combo kill them. And this draw is actually a good example of why I really like playing Noble Hierarchs in this type of JAC deck. Just because Noble Hierarch and Summoner's Pact give you more fast combo draws. Thanks for the 9 months, Pinky. Do you recommend new players with monocles get recommended to play Vintage with their private jets? Yes, Vintage on your private jet is the best way to explore Magic. Turn 2, Oko your bird into a 3/3. It's happening. I would scream. I will scream, Burgle. Are you trying to make me scream? Is Modern a cult? Yes. I'm gonna lower my volume. You've been warned. If an Oko gets cast, I am screaming. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, they fetched a breeding pool. Oh no. Oh no. Ah! Don't do it! Ah! Burgle! 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 Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh. Oh, the sun'll come up tomorrow. Tomorrow, bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow. Do do do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. All right. That was not the Fatestitcher I wanted for Christmas. Silence. All right. Created the Sound of Silence. Wrote the book on madness. Somehow they're still here to explain. Alright, there is a Sylvan Caryatid for next turn. We pumped up. Why did I tap the wrong land? I don't need to silence them next turn. I wanted to leave up green in case I drew a Birds of Paradise. So leaving up the green was intentional. My elk killed Broko at least, I guess. Vomit. Alright, so they're not threatening a combo next turn, so I've got that going for us. I just get Time Raveler here, right? Because that bounces this and then locks them out of playing other interaction on our turn. And it draws us a card while giving us our Ascendancy back. Because we're kind of low on cards at the moment. Well, shoot. We're being dismantled, chat. We're being dismantled. Send help. Send help. 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 Yikes, and a Devoted Druid. Ooh. Do I want another Ascendancy here? I feel like I don't. I want cards that draw cards, right? I think I just want cards that draw cards. How do we win right now? How do we win? We can start comboing. You're just saying we can start comboing? So yeah, we can start doing stuff, but again, remember, we're not deterministic, chat. I think of this as winning. Okay, sure, yeah. It's a long road, but it begins here. Ooh. 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 Alright, so we're looking for Fatestitcher at this point. We're a little choked on mana at the moment, right? I guess Regrowth plus Morphose is mana neutral, and it loots us twice. Oh, they're at 8, huh? Oh yeah, so they're dead, right? Because we have Flesh Blood. I don't even really need to loot here. So we need to convert this blue into mana that casts Glittering Wish or Flesh Blood. Yeah, let this be a lesson to all of y'all out there who think the answer to being better in Modern is being more interactive. You're wrong. You're very, very wrong. Opponent tried to be interactive, and they were justly ended. Choose target creature you control. This elk will deal damage equal to its power to that face. You should only be interactive in Modern if your opponent is making your combo deck be interactive. That is the only reason to do it. If they force you to be interactive, you be interactive. Alright, so this hand's really bad. It doesn't have a mana creature or a way to get to JAC in it, so we're gonna mulligan. This hand's like, it's fine. It needs a land and a JAC, but I think it's keepable. After Elk Scream burgled out of your system, I think you lost the right to complain about the 4-year-old being loud. Listen, I am loud as part of the entertainment. It is an immersive experience. Gosh, chat, we might hit 65,000 Twitch followers today or tomorrow. We're less than 100 followers away from 65,000 followers. Hashtag meaningless metrics. Tell that to the cops the neighbors called to your door. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. That's my story. That's my story. I ain't got a witness and I can't prove it. Explaining Oko to the police. Plead the Twitch. I think I'm going to take Fatestitcher here. And I think because I have Fatestitcher in my hand now, I'm going to go ahead and just Ideas Unbound here. He turned my bird into an elk, officer. I had no choice but to scream like I did, I swear. I swear. It was cruel and unusual elking. I think I'm in for an extra land here at this point. Once upon a time, there was I wonder what they kept. Their hand seems pretty medium. It's like one land and a bunch of birds. Do 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 do. Welcome back, Burgle. Thanks for taking your 10 minutes like a champ. Yeah, Magus is super beatable. Just like trying to figure out how we're going about beating it here. Really kind of tilting that I discarded the second Manamorphose, huh? I also could have fetched a basic if that had been a card on my radar. Off it. You know, I think I'm coming around on Oko being the best planeswalker ever printed. I think I'm coming around on that. I mean, 3-mana Teferi has never been criticized or obnoxious because of its power level. 3-mana Teferi is a card that's just fundamentally unfun to play against because it removes a very important part of the game. Yeah, it's not... 3-mana Teferi is not broken. It's just very annoying, and conceptually, I just hate that it exists as a design. Oko is fundamentally powerful. Nah, I really just don't have time for another card game right now. And generally speaking, being a streamer of my size, exploring a game like that has all the big fish on Twitch in it, it generally is a money-losing proposition. Like, I will certainly have less viewers than I have for Magic playing that game. So it's not really something I'm interested in exploring on stream. I'm a big fish in the Magic pond, but that's because the Magic pond's not particularly large. I'm also hesitant to give free press to our benevolent, glorious leader that is China. Anybody who was upset over the decisions that Blizzard made regarding their player recently should give pause to supporting Riot Games, which is wholly owned by a Chinese company. Who also issued a statement to their players after the Blizzard thing, telling them to not make strong statements regarding anything. So, if you are someone who gave pause when Blizzard banned their players for supporting the Hong Kong protests, you should probably do some research into Riot. And that doesn't even get into the workplace culture issues that have occurred at Riot. Oko defends himself. It's called 6th Loyalty. Still basking in the afterglow. All right. Who's ready for a turn 3 kill? I mean, President Pooh Bear. Yep. President Pooh Bear. So again, my opponent has 6 lands in play, but this is the 3rd turn of the game. You bring in Leyline in this matchup? Really? Bringing in Leyline seems loose. I feel like I'd just rather linear them. Six lands on turn 3. What is the standard? Asking the real questions. Ooh, Echo of Eons is sweet. We're really, so when you're playing this deck, you're always trying to break through one of two bottlenecks when you're not deterministic. You either don't have enough cards or don't have enough mana. Oh, I would certainly be banned in China. 10 out of 10, not close. I am very fortunate to have been born in the United States. Geography is destiny, which is something that a lot of people who lack empathy don't understand. I didn't choose to be born here, but I was very fortunate that I was. I guess the second Ascendancy gives me plenty of mana, huh? See, I'm actually gonna ditch this Engineered Explosive and just drop the second Ascendancy here. And then the second Ascendancy should break our mana bottleneck, and we have plenty of cards, so we should be good to go from there. I'm actually not going to loot here, because I know both the top cards of my deck are good. Or the top card of my deck is good, and my entire hand is good. Oh, meant to click that one. The modern dumpster fire never not dead to Team or Battle Rage, ain't that the truth? The Moto window flickering is like playing this deck on super hard mode. It's like, how could we make clicking through this deck more challenging? What if we made the application window flicker every time you take a game action? Alright, so, I don't know, I could just not show them blood, but I'd like to be done clicking, so let's show them blood. Is this my favorite modern deck? Nah, not really. I don't really have a favorite modern deck at the moment. No, that's not true. My favorite modern deck is Neoshul Brand, because Neoshul Brand, in my experience, makes people who claim to like modern hate the format as much as I do. That's the right answer. My feelings towards modern in general are Neoshul Brand's my favorite deck because it makes people who say this format is good hate it. Your format's sweet, shuffle up. You're about to die on the second turn. You are Modern's Joker, yep. I want to watch it burn. I want to watch it all burn. Really? So you want me to bring in Leyline here? I normally would not bring in Leyline here. That is, I would just bring in Silence and race them. You don't want Silence, okay? Alright. You've probably played this deck more than I have recently, so we'll go with your thing. Yeah, Silence is like also Time Walk though, and it's like Time Walk that doesn't cost 4 when we're comboing. I mean, this hand's sweet, just needs some lands and a mana creature. Looking for, honestly, even just a third land here lets us like cast JAC for 3 and then bring back Fatestitcher the following turn, right? Steve-O. Well, you don't strictly tax their enchantment hate, because they can kill us through a Leyline of Sanctity, right? Like, they can just attack us with a Primeval Titan. How do we feel about this over Lock JAC? I mean, this deck's always been, like, a tier 2 meme. The Lock JAC deck is, like, arguably one of the better decks in the format. It's very good. This is a modern pet deck of mine. Old pet deck. For me. Old pet deck from a simpler time. Yeah, I think I'm okay with both of these. We'll top here. Next turn we can cast JAC. JA, Jeskai Ascendancy. I feel like everybody incorrectly says every game looks like Hearthstone. Like, they're card games, and they're designed to fit on mobile, so they're not all Hearthstone, I promise. From my understanding, the new Riot card game is a Hearthstone-style mana system with a Magic-style combat system, where, like, you declare attackers, and then they declare blockers. But they can only block, attacking and blocking is only one blocker for each attacker. So they remove some of the depth from Magic's combat in that way. I mean, we played JAC around the time where I was expanding into full-time Nivik. So my stream grew a lot then. Yeah. Yeah, if we get Force of Vigor, that's not going to be pretty. Mediocre Magic player who just hit Diamond and Arena thanks to your Team Oko deck. Want to say thank you for the deck and the great content. Thanks for the biddies, Jonald. Glad. Congrats on your success. It's a lot of fun, for sure. One of the things that I did see from reading things surrounding the Riot card game that seems interesting is it looks like they're planning to innovate surrounding opponent. They're planning to innovate surrounding how the monetization works in these card games. Oh, I bet they're getting Field of the Dead. So then hopefully they're into this Fatestitcher next turn. I think we're about to get fielded. I think that's exactly what's happening here. A lot of these decks have been playing one field for things like Leyline. Yep. And I mean, these card games tend to make piles of money. So, like, there's a lot of room for a company to step in and, like, give themselves less profit while still making plenty of money, I think. So we got Serum Visions here. We are going to be a little bit tight on mana to start here. Alright, sweet. And those actually finish us being tight on mana, because we haven't played a land yet this turn, and Manamorphose makes mana. I'm amazed Arena isn't on mobile yet. Are you amazed Arena isn't on mobile yet? Arena barely runs on my i7 with 32 gigs of RAM and a 1080 GTX graphics card. Like, the reason Arena isn't on mobile isn't because of Magic's complexity. They could jam that into mobile still and just have a medium user experience. The reason Arena's not on mobile is because they don't have anybody that can optimize the software working for them. just drew it naturally. Bless up. Yeah, so I was going to call for the Fatestitcher, but we're a professional, so. How would you compare this variant of JC to the Urza Emerald? I mean, this version is bad, and the Urza PO Ascendancy versions are good. This deck is a pet deck. It's fun. It randomly kills on turn 2 sometimes, turn 3. So, like, it's fine if you really love it, but pretending it's anything more than a pet deck is just, like, not being honest with yourself. For those of you wondering how we killed through a bunch of zombies, these Fatestitchers can tap down the zombies. We can also Flesh Blood them out of the sideboard. Oko is very good. I would be very surprised if Oko was banned, though, because it's the cornerstone of their latest set. Oko is selling lots of booster packs at the moment. There is a very clear business reason why you would not ban Oko. I'm going to tap these zombies right away here, so maybe they see the writing on the wall. Calling my favorite deck a pet deck. Time to go complain on Reddit, right? Listen. People come to this channel for the truth. If you want a bunch of lies, I'd go suggest reading Trump's Twitter timeline. I think they need to ban more than just Field of the Dead. I would guess the resulting field is not going to be pleasant. Okay, so we actually have deterministic lethal here now. So they were very likely dead, but double regrowth here is deterministic because you can just regrowth over and over and over again. Nah, Grape Shot basically just doesn't solve any problems that you have. In the games where you generate an incredible storm count, you're gonna win those anyways. In my opinion, if I'm not certain they need to ban things in Standard, but if someone came to me and said, Jeff, you have to ban something in Standard, what do you ban? My response would be I would ban 4 cards. I would ban 3 mana Teferi, Field of the Dead, Grazer, and Goose. We'll get rid of all of those cards. You can't ban Goose at Honks, yep. Why can't R&D accept that 1 mana ramp is broke? I have no idea. Does anybody else remember when standard bans weren't the thing that happened? Ah, such a simpler time. such a simpler time. What about 0 mana ramp? Listen, we don't talk about Mox Opal around here, okay? Listen, The last time I said that Mox Opal needed to be banned in Modern, there were some very salty people in my YouTube comments. Hey, Snyder, thanks for the 14 months. Welcome back. Opal doesn't need to be banned. I play with it and barely win it all. But Jeff, I play with Mox Opal in my bad deck. Leave my bad deck alone. All right, we're 2-2. Give me another Valakut Titan player who we can mercilessly kill while they're doing nothing. Band's pretty good. It would like a 1-drop, 1 or 2-drop dork, but reasonable otherwise. Yay! It's a race to the finish, a race do 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 do. That's true. The ley line was very good in the last game. In fact, the fact that we brought that in ended up winning us the game. Yeah, I agree. I think part of why the decks submitted for the MC are so skewed is because of the deadline they had was so far in advance. They didn't give people long enough to really test. What? Are we about to get turn 2'd? Please turn to me. Please turn to me. Please turn to me. Emrakul. We're dead. Yay! Modern. Woo! Modern. Praise the Modern. Look at that. So they took 2 turns. We took 1 turn. Died on turn 3. 2 + 1 is 3. Peak Modern right there. Nothing but the most modern of games. Nothing but the most modern of games here. What an incredibly slow start out of the opponent. Not killing us till the 3rd turn. How incredibly slow and fair of them. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Can you believe this is the most popular competitive format Paper Magic has? Can you fathom? I can't even fathom that with what this format has become. It makes me sad in a way that like kids who play Modern today that weren't playing 7 or 8 years ago will never get to experience the format that was Twin, Pod, and Jund being the 3 best decks in that format. That format, it was just something special that they'll never get to see. They don't know what they never had, basically. It's very sad. It was quite excellent. Very different time. I'll take my redraw. I heard Mythgard was a possibility after Magic today. If not, then it comes with the regularly scheduled day, that's fine. But I'll add you a list on Discord and let you pick between enchantments and reanimators. Sound good? I'm pretty sure we're gonna do Mythgard at the end today. Unless Christy has an emergency at work, she's good to get Jake off the bus today so I can run late. Generator Survey. Yup. I think I'm supposed to let them have this and then plan to path. I think I'm supposed to plan to path the boar they put into play. The problem is if they threw the breach. Next turn in Emrakul, I'm dead, but I think I'm supposed to take that risk. We could effectively be dead next turn. Is the Jund League with Matt still your most watched video? I don't know. What is my most watched video? Now, I don't think that one was ever my most watched. My most watched YouTube video is the killing someone on turn 4 in Standard. Followed by Shadowborn Apostles. A lot of my YouTube videos don't get a ton of individual views just because of the volume of content I pump out. Just to give a concise wrap on this, I don't think this deck is very good. I don't think it was ever very good. I think it's kind of fun, or it was kind of fun. The Urza PO version is definitely better. I think as this format's gotten more linear, this deck's gotten worse just because, like, it's not as linear as some of the other things. I think in general, if I was going to play this deck, I would recommend playing this version that's on my website, because this version is notably playing Summoner's Pact and Noble Hierarchs, and both Summoner's Pact and Noble Hierarchs make you able to kill on turn 2 some amount, but I think even with making the deck more optimized to go on turns 2 and 3 like this deck still doesn't race the other decks that exist in the format quite efficiently enough. So I think Emery Ascendancy is not quite at the top of the queue, but it'll probably be up next week, I believe. It looks like it's third from the top, so we'll get a chance to see the PO Ascendancy deck on stream. Next week, it looks like. Next week, I am going to be cutting down on my Moto content a little bit, just as a heads up. Both Moto and Modern have been a little bit medium for me lately, so I'm going to be cutting back to 3 Moto leagues per week, just so that's not a surprise when I post my schedule. I'm still going to be streaming the same volume. I'm going to be adding some Mythgard content to my regular schedule, because I've really been enjoying that game, and the folks that make it have partnered with me. But as far as Modern and Magic Online are concerned, I'm going to be scaling that back until the format changes a little bit. Google Chrome has crashed. Of course you did, Google Chrome. Of course you did. Yay, stable software. All right, I'm going to go ahead and run a quick ad break. When we get back, we're going to start with Esper Reanimator Control in Standard. Thanks, everybody, for